Hi, it's Todd again, and today's podcast is going to be about formative assessment. So, you've just got done teaching about cell structure, and you want to make sure that the students understand what it is that they've been going over. So, as the students come in, you might want to give them a little pop quiz, or maybe as they're exiting, or just before exiting, that they might need to have a little quiz to make sure that they've got it all together for the next day. So Google Forms makes it real easy to set up a quiz, and this is a newer feature. You could do quizzes before, but you had to add on something like Flubaroo or Doctopus or something like that to be able to grade the quiz. But now, at least for your basic objective questions, it'll grade it for you automatically. So here's how it works. Let's bring up. Oops. There we go. Bring up the Drive. Now in Drive, open up the whatever folder you want to put it into. I tend to organize mine by subject area, but you might want to put all of yours in a quiz folder. That's up to you. Anyway, but if you go down it under New and under More, you'll find Google Forms. You click that and open it up. Now I've already started one just to speed things along here. So you've got an open form, and it'll have a place to put your name, put the name of the quiz. So we can put cell structure quiz, then any sort of instructions you want to put in a subheading, and then we start adding questions. The first couple of questions should probably be some sort of a name collection. I like to do last name and first name for organization. That's completely up to you. Once you put in the title here, if you click up in the where it usually says untitled, it will put in the same file name as your title, but since I just changed mine, I had to change it up there as well to call it cell structure quiz instead. Now, before you do anything else, one of the first things you want to do is to click on settings. And this is new. It's been around for about a year, but over here, kind of in the middle of the window, is quizzes. If you click on that, and there's a little slider here, you want to make this a quiz. It doesn't automatically start that way. Since I already made this, started this little quiz, I've already clicked it over. But you want to have that clicked on. When you have that on, you have a few choices you can make immediately. Let the grade be released immediately after submission. That would be like if they're all objective questions, multiple choice, true, false, etc. Then it can grade it for you automatically and kick it back to them. It will match up spelled words as well, but if it's not exactly right, if their spelling is a little off, like say mitochondria versus mitochondrion, it's not really smart. It will the app will tell you that it's wrong. So that's up to you if you want to deal with those little problems. You can also have it release the grades later after manual review, which means then you can take a look at it and assign a grade for some of those. Or if you've got a longer short answer or small essay or something like that, then you can release it later. Then do you want the student to be able to see the questions they missed, what the correct answers, the point value? Those are all choices that you'd have to make depending on how you're going to use the quiz. Then you click Save. Also on presentation, how does it look? Do you want a progress bar? All these things are typical with the forms if you've used the forms before. You can collect their email address as it comes in. You can limit it to one response. I'm not going to do that right now, but if you do that, what it does is it requires them to be signed into Google. Now, for students with G Suite accounts, yeah, you'd want to do that. Like I said, for now, I'm not going to do that just so I can show you how it looks when it's done. You can let the respondents edit after they submit. Probably not something you want to do with a quiz, but again, that depends on you. It may be a formative quiz, in which case correcting answers might be fine. And you can also let them see a summary chart of text responses. Typically, that's more about like if you're taking a poll. But anyway, saves all of that. Now, what you'll see here is I've already put a title and some instructions, last name, first name. Here's where it becomes different. If you're editing a question, you put a question in here. I put in the control center of the cell is, and then I put in a few choices: mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, nucleus. Down here on the bottom, it says answer key. Normally that wouldn't be there, but when you click that little quizzes button, then it puts this in here. So answer key, you click on that, and then you click on whatever is the right answer, assign a number of points. Then you can go back to edit question, and as long as everything's ready to go, then you're done there. And again, same thing on this one here. Answer key, and then the power of the cell is the mitochondria. I'm giving it a point, and back to edit question. And I'm just going to do these 2 questions to show you what it looks like. Now, up here on the responses section, and you need to go to there too, you're going to have to change over to accepting responses when you're kind of ready to go with it. And if you click on the 3 little buttons, or 3 little dots, then you want to collect or select response destination. Now, typically, if you've given it a title and the file already has a title name, it will put in the name of it: cell structure quiz responses. That's probably fine. If you want to do something different, you can do that. If you want to rename it, if you want to send it to a different spreadsheet, you can select an existing spreadsheet, put it there. We're going to use a cell structure quiz one and click create. So this is typically the way you would do it. Okay. So, oops, looks like I lost internet connection for a second there. Okay. So right now we have 0 responses. Now, if I want to see what it's going to look like, what I do is click send. Now, send makes it live, basically. And so we're going to get the link for it. And there are different ways you can email it to people. You can do the link and put it on Classroom. Depends on what you want to do with it. You can shorten the URL even. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to copy it and then close. Now, I'm going to go over to an incognito window, which I recommend doing to see what it looks like. Now, you do want to change that login thing later on in the preferences, but for right now, we'll just leave it this way. I'm going to paste in the URL and then bring it up, and there is the quiz. And so I'm going to just go ahead and put in some names, and then make some answers. We'll do 1 right and 1 wrong. So the control center is the nucleus. The wrong one, we'll call it ribosome for the powerhouse, and submit. And so I can look at my score. And this one, I think I left it to see the answers. So yeah, so the control center is right. The powerhouse one for ribosome is not, and it's telling me what the correct answer is. If you're doing this like a study guide, that'd be great. But if you're doing it more for assessment, then you might not want to let them see the answers. But that's up to you. Okay, now, if we go back to where we were before, we now have 1 response. Under the responses, you can see what's cool here is there's some insight to this. You can see what percentage, if you had a lot of people doing it, it'll tell you the percentage that got that answer right and that answer wrong. And you get a little bit of analysis there for it, which is kind of cool. You can look at the question analysis or the question itself. You can look at individuals for each person and how they did. And again, not right now, it's not too great. But that's basically it. Now, if you go into the folder where you made that, I'll probably have to reload here, but you should see the spreadsheet there with the answers in it as well. And we'll show you how those are organized, hopefully momentarily. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, there we go. Okay, so if we open up the spreadsheet itself, then you'll see how the questions are organized. The longer the question, the less you're going to see of it in the top of it. But you can see there, you've got the timestamp when it was taken. That can be handy. The score, it scored it for you, 1 out of 2. Their last name and first name. Then the questions. Now, you might want to put in a number first, which I didn't do. But if you put a number there, then you would know, and you wouldn't have to worry about what the actual question is, because it will, if you had another question here, it'll truncate your questions as it goes along. But it'll show you what the answers were that they gave, and then their score. And so this will give you all the data you need to decide whether to move on or to give them a grade for it, whatever you want to do with it. But all of this data will help you in forming your lessons for the future. All right, I hope that was a help. Have a great day.